Are you enjoying the game today, too?
That is a deceptively simple question. But when the game is Super Bomberman, the answer is always a very loud, very chaotic yes.
Absolutely. I mean, if you weren't screaming at your friends, were you even really playing? Today we're diving into the game that basically defined the party genre for me, the one that turned my living room floor into a complete war zone. We are talking about Super Bomberman for the Super Nintendo.
Specifically, the 1993 original. A lot of people point to Super Bomberman 2 as the classic, but really, this first one is arguably more important. It's the one that built the bridge.
A bridge?
Yeah, it took the series from this, solitary puzzle game on the NES and PC engine and just completely transformed it into the multiplayer monster we all remember.
A monster of destruction. But before we even get to the gameplay, I have to talk about the box. The physical box. You bought this thing and it was like twice the size of a normal SNES game. It felt heavy.
You're talking about the bundle, of course.
Yeah.
Because it often came with that legendary piece of plastic, the Super Multitap.
Yes. The gray banana, that's what we called it. It was this long gray bar you plugged in, and suddenly your console had all these wires sticking out of it.
It was the only way, really. The SNES just had the 2 controller ports up front. So Hudson Soft needed a hardware fix to make their 4-player dream a reality.
Yeah.
You plugged the multitap into the second port, and boom, you had 4 more slots.
It felt so illegal. I remember thinking Nintendo only wants 2 of us to play, but we're breaking the rules.
Well, you were definitely pushing the hardware's limits. And here's a fun fact for you. The multitap actually had 4 ports on it. So if you count the first port on the console itself, you physically had 5 controller slots.
Wait, hold on. 5. But it's a 4-player game. What was the 5th person for? Were they just like the designated snack getter, the moral support?
Not quite. And this is something buried deep in the code. That 5th controller slot, the 4th one on the multitap, it actually did something.
No way. What?
If you plugged a controller in there, you could access a hidden menu to toggle the game's sound between mono and stereo.
You're kidding me. You needed a whole extra controller just to flip a sound switch. That is the most 1993 thing I have ever heard in my life.
It was most likely a leftover debug tool the developers used for testing. But yes, that multitap, it really did change everything. It's what made games like this possible.
It really was. It was the reason to go to your friend's house. But I have to ask you about the name. My cousin came over from Europe once, and he kept calling it Dyna Blaster.
He was right. The branding was a bit of a mess back then. The earlier games were called Dyna Blaster in Europe. Go back even further to the old home computers, and it was called Eric and the Floaters.
Eric and the Flirters? That sounds like a really bad seaside pub band.
It doesn't exactly scream explosive action, does it?
Yeah.
But Super Bomberman on the SNES, that was the moment it all got unified. The game basically declared, okay, from now on, it's just Bomberman.
And he was super... But I never paid any attention to the story. We just mashed start and went straight to the battle mode. But there's actual drama here.
I wouldn't call it Shakespeare, but it does have a pretty significant twist. The story is set in Diamond City, where the villains Carat Diamond and Dr. Mook are holding a robot tournament.
Dr. Mook. Sounds like a real threat.
He's effective enough, but here's the hook. Black Bomberman, who was the bad guy before, is actually the victim this time.
See, this blew my mind reading the notes. I always thought he was the Wario to my Mario. The evil twin.
Not here. Carat Diamond steals his castle, and he gets beaten by a fake Mechabombers. So what does he do? He runs to his old rival, White Bomberman, for help.
It's a buddy cop movie. It's incredible. They team up.
Exactly. And that whole setup was the justification for the series' first ever 2-player co-op story mode. Before this, it was a solo adventure.
Co-op is a very generous term. I think I spent half my time accidentally trapping my friend with a bomb.
That probably served as good practice for battle mode. But speaking of the story mode, did you find it hard?
Honestly, I felt like a god. I would just walk into a room, spam bombs everywhere, walk right through the explosions. I thought I was a gaming prodigy.
It wasn't you, it was the invincibility frames. They're ridiculously long in this game.
What do you mean?
When you take a hit or start a level, you're invincible for something like 10 seconds.
10 seconds. That's an eternity in a game like this.
It is. You can literally drop a bomb, stand on it, and clear half the stage before you're in any danger. It makes most of the normal mode almost trivially easy.
Except for World 5.
Yes. The robot tournament.
That place was a nightmare. The difficulty just falls off a cliff, no blocks to hide behind. And the clock. I swear that clock was rigged.
Your perception was spot on. I looked at the frame data. In a normal world, the clock ticks down about every 17 seconds. In World 5, it ticks every 6 seconds.
6 seconds. So it was running almost 3 times faster. I knew it.
And it gets worse.
Ah.
The timer doesn't even reset between rounds. It's one continuous countdown. If you don't get lucky with a time extension power-up, it's almost impossible to finish.
That explains so much of my childhood frustration. I remember yelling at the TV.
It's a huge difficulty spike. Just a massive one.
Speaking of weird things, remember the enemies. There was that mole in World 3.
Moguchan.
Yeah, that guy. But he looks different depending on where you were playing, right?
He does. It's a classic case of 90s censorship. In the Japanese version, the hole is brown with these big, round lips.
Okay.
For the Western release, they recolored his entire sprite to be green.
Green? Why green?
The theory is they were worried the original design could be misinterpreted as a racial caricature. So, to be safe, they just made him a green mole.
Better to be a mutant than controversial, I guess. Okay, but let's talk about the really unsafe stuff. The combination that should have been illegal.
You must be talking about the remote control plus the penetrating bomb.
The spiky bombs. If you got those 2 items at the same time,
Right.
The game was just over. You were a god of destruction.
It was a fundamental design flaw. You could just lay a bomb, press a button, and clear the entire map of soft blocks in, 3 seconds.
It was glorious. Just pure, unfiltered power.
It was so overpowered that Hudson Soft fixed it immediately. In every game after this one, you can't have both at the same time. Picking one up makes you drop the other.
Huh?
But in Super Bomberman 1, they let the chaos reign.
And what about the power glove? The one for throwing bombs? I swear I used to throw curveballs by accident.
Curveball glitch, yes.
I thought my controller was broken. I'd throw a bomb straight and it would just hook to the left.
That's a well-known trick. If you hold a direction on the D-pad right as the throw animation starts, the bomb keeps that momentum and curves through the air.
So I was a pro gamer and I didn't even know it.
You're accidentally using a speedrunner tactic, yes.
Yeah.
It just adds to the unpredictability.
Speaking of things I wish I could forget, we have to talk about the boss of World 2.
Pieromask.
Why? Why a giant realistic clown face and a cute little pixel game?
It is an incredibly jarring shift in art style, isn't it? Everything else is so cartoony, and then you get that.
And his face changes. When you hit him, he gets this horrible, angry, crying expression. It's legitimate nightmare fuel.
And he speeds up. It's probably one of the weirdest and most terrifying boss designs of that entire generation of consoles.
Ugh, I'm getting chills. Okay, let's move on. Let's talk about the reason everyone bought the game. Battle mode.
Main event.
It was just pure adrenaline. 4 players, 12 stages, last one standing. But it was the pressure that made it. The hurry up system.
Right, when there's 1 minute left on the clock, the music just kicks into overdrive.
That music, it's a Pavlovian response. Even now hearing it makes me nervous, and then the blocks start falling.
The pressure blocks,
Yeah.
they fall from the outside in, shrinking the arena, forcing everyone into a tiny little kill box at the center.
It was genius. You couldn't just hide in a corner. The game forced a confrontation. It was like, nope, you're gonna fight to the death now.
It's the perfect solution to camping. And the stages themselves just added to the madness, like the zombie flower stage.
Oh, the worst. You blow up a block and it just grows right back. I trapped myself so many times.
But the true friendship ender was stage 4, Boyoyan Jump.
The trampoline stage?
Yeah,
oh
man.
my gosh.
That stage was pure random chaos.
You jump on one of those pads and you just lose all control. You're flying through the air praying you don't land on a bomb.
And once you're in the air, you can't steer. You just have to wait until you land.
We had a house rule. No pausing on the trampoline stage. Ever.
That's a good rule because pausing while a character is bouncing can actually cause a desynchronization glitch, making them land in weird, unpredictable ways.
It was a great equalizer. It didn't matter how good you were. On that stage, everyone was just one bad bounce from doom.
Now, speaking of things that seem unfair, what about the life steal mechanic in the story mode?
Ugh, don't remind me. This caused so many fights.
So, player 1 has, say, 5 lives. Player 2 dies, they can just start to come back in, right?
Right, but they don't get their own lives. They steal half of mine.
It just redistributes them. No permission asked. It's forced communism for kids.
I can still hear myself yelling, "Don't you press that button, I need these lives," and my friend just staring me down as he did it.
It's a very interesting social dynamic to force on children.
And while we're talking secrets, we have to mention the password, the one everyone knew.
5656.
5656. You type that in, and suddenly your Bomberman is tiny. He's just this little guy running around.
It's a great little Easter egg. But do you know the story behind the number?
No idea. I just assumed it was random.
It's Japanese wordplay. In Japanese, 5 is go and 6 is roku. So you get Goro. Goro Goro is an onomatopoeia for something small rolling around.
No way. So the password is literally rolling, rolling.
Pretty much, yeah. It describes exactly what the cheat does.
That's amazing. I love that. See, this is why we do this. I never knew I was typing in a sound effect.
It has a whole other layer of charm to it. But looking back, why does this specific game matter so much? Super Bomberman 2 had more features, right?
For me, it's just the pure chaos of it. It feels raw. But also, this is the game that proved the SNES could even handle this kind of multiplayer mayhem.
That's the technical legacy, for sure. It established the golden rule of all party games. Simple controls plus maximum chaos equals fun.
Exactly. A button drops a bomb. That's all you need to know. Run away.
But we should admit its flaws. The lack of a default kick ability in battle mode was punishing.
Oh, it was brutal. You get trapped between your own bomb and a wall, and that's it. It's over. You just have to stand there and accept your fate.
It puts so much emphasis on positioning. But that raw tension, that's what people remember.
It really is. You know, talking about all this, the multitap, the passwords, the clown boss,
Yeah.
it makes me think the game wasn't really what was on the screen. The real game was what was happening on the couch.
It was a catalyst for social interaction, or social conflict. It taught you about strategy, betrayal, and forgiveness, all in about 3 minutes.
And it taught us that if your friend pauses the game while you're mid-air on the trampoline stage, you're allowed to unplug their controller. That's just the rule.
I think that's a perfectly fair interpretation, yes.
Well, I think I need to go find my old SNES. I have a sudden urge to blow some stuff up.
Just remember to plug in that 5th controller. You'll want to hear those explosions in full stereo.
I will never, ever forget that now. Will the game be fun tomorrow, too? Have a nice game.